Well, it turns out capturing data from a list is really requiring something like a button. Otherwise, how does it know when you've finished selecting? Also, you can select more than one item. I'm only going to cover selecting one item. Well, we're going to put a button on. It's about time we had a button on our form that is an ordinary kind of button. So that's what we're going to do next. So we drag the button on here, and I will change the text to say, I don't know, click me. And I want the handler, of course, so I double click on there and the handler will be created for me. That is the handler and the listener for the button. So I'm going to put my code in here, but what code? Well, the list, I didn't change its name, so the list is actually called JList1 because that's a default name. And what I want to get is get the value of the index selected. Now we can get a helper list, and there we see it, get selected value. If we wanted more than one value, it would be get selected values. Okay, so what we're going to do with that? Well, we want to put it into the text box, don't we? So we just say J text field, because I didn't change the name of that either, 1 dot, and I actually want to set text of that to the get selected value. What I've done here while I was looking elsewhere was I've started to overtype. Okay, so get selected value, that is the selected value of the list box. So I just have to retype in here the name J list1 dot, and make sure I've got a bracket at the end here. So we can actually set the text to this, but it complains up here, you can see, cannot be applied to given types. So string and object. This means that we need to cast the value that's in the as an item in the list box to a string. Well, a way to do that is to just use the toString method. Seems to be happy now. Let's see what happens when we run this. Well, when we click yellow, green, red, nothing's happening, but when we click the button, the currently selected item is presented. And of course, radio buttons still work as well. So the list is an alternative way of getting input to mutually exclusive input to the radio buttons, and you might argue it's easier to set up. However, it's a matter of choice. That's the list box. I hope you found that useful.